What's good? What's good? What's good? Can you hear me, DJ?
Wait, hold on. You started it already?
I mean, if I started it already,
Hold on, Dad. You got to restart. I was ready. You were supposed to tell me.
why you weren't ready? I told you that we was gonna be ready after the countdown went.
Oh, that's my fault.
Yeah.
That's on me.
All right. You gonna stop touching your hair? You gonna keep touching your hair?
You not here right now, Dad. You ain't let it marinate.
All right, so here we go. Hey, welcome once again to another episode of the Purpose Lab, where you know the mission. The mission is to interview the world's most successful failures who understand the importance of learning the lessons that's found in failure. And so today I get the opportunity to interview one of my favorite people on the earth. And I really say that, and I mean that. One of my favorite people on this planet, even though this person gets on my nerve the most, but they also made me help me become the person I am right now. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guest on the Purpose Lab, DJ Arnold. Do you go by DJ Arnold? Or you want to go by Damon Arnold? Which one?
I go by DJ.
Okay, DJ Arnold. How you doing, DJ Arnold? Welcome to the Purpose Lab.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
It's all good. All good. I've been trying to have you for a while, but you pause. I've been trying to have you for a while, but you set up and you were always busy, too busy for me. Then you wanted to get through the semester. Then you wanted to get to, which we'll talk about on the program as well, the opportunity that you start on Monday, I believe, right? So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Shoot, yeah. Named after you. But we got two different middle names because you don't know how to spell the middle name. And that's
Wait. Why you got to bring that up?
Because so like technically I'm not even really a junior. We pretty much I'm my own person, really. If you really
Wait, what you mean you your own listen, brief story time. So when I was young, I used to play with my social security card because I used to think it was like a credit card, right? And so my mother used to always say, stop playing with your social security card. And I messed around and lost it. So we had to go to the social security building. So me and my mother go to the social security building. And what she did was she said, hey, you need to go up there. We got the paperwork. She said, you need to fill it out by yourself. Now, as I'm filling the paperwork out, I had already, because my name is Damon Frederick Arnold. And so I really didn't like my middle name at the time because I was named after my father, right? And so I would change, instead of my name being Fredrick, I changed it to Frederick, right? And so or the opposite way around. And so I said, so I filled it out on the paperwork. And so fast forward, I've been saying my name is Fredrick forever on all my properties that I purchased, everything. And so fast forward, I'm about to receive my PhD at Washington State University. And my mother calls me on the phone and I'm at work because she came for the graduation. I'm at work and I'm with some students and we just having fun, but I'm telling her I'm work. My mother said, Damon, how do you spell your name? And I thought she was just playing. I was like, Mom, what are you talking about? Yo, I'm with some students. I got to go. She said, Damon, no, you better not hang up this phone. She said, Damon, how do you spell your name? And I said, Mom, what you mean how I spell my name? Fredrick. It's all on everything. I'm looking at my diplomas and everything. She said, Damon, that's not how you spell your name. And it immediately hit me. I was like, oh, shoot. My name is Frederick, Frederick, not Frederick. And I was like, dang, my son is spelled after the name that I currently have. So that's why he's making that joke about he's technically his own man. Okay, Mr. Own Man, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Are you in college? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm just finished my second year in college, major in finance, and then I got a minor in criminal justice. And then, yeah, I mean, I've been in Allendale all my life. I was born in Pullman, Washington. I don't really say I'm from Washington, though. I really say I'm from here. I claim the 616, but all my friends tell me I'm not from Grand Rapids, but I say I'm from Grand Rapids. But yeah, that's really, I play sports, stuff like that, kick it with my friends.
Okay, so did you always play sports growing up?
I did. I wasn't allowed to play football until like sixth grade, so I always played soccer. So I was a big soccer fan. I played some flag football and I played basketball here and there. But yeah, football was a sport that I really drew interest in.
Got you. So what made you choose the school that you're currently at?
I feel like it always felt like home. I feel like I've been here all my life. I grew up. I went to my the Children's Enrichment Center, which my mom, your wife, ran. Kind of been there, and then I've been around all the athletes and pretty much everybody around here all my life. So it really just felt like home.
Got you. And so as many of you know, I work at LSU, so Louisiana State University, with the football team. I'm the director of player engagement and development. And so I made the decision after Coach Kelly had taken a job here, and he called me a week later and asked me to come up here. So I made the decision to come. And so really my daughter was going to be the hard part. He was already going to go back to college and play football. My wife, you know, she's a trooper. She's a rider. She's going to go with me. It was my daughter who had to leave her senior year. And so I knew it was going to be hard for her. But something interesting. And when we talk about, you know, the mission of this podcast, you know, interviewing the world's most successful failures. My son, and I don't know if you remember this, DJ, but you had told me when we had left, because we all moved up here, he stayed there. And I remember my son, being full transparency, I remember my son, we actually drove up. We drove up on a Thursday, and we were supposed to leave at, I believe, like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, but we were trying to beat a storm. And so we ended up leaving at like 3 o'clock. And so my son drove up here with me. He stayed asleep all the way because we were supposed to have, you know, a grown-up conversation about girls, right? Because he got a little girlfriend. So we're supposed to have a grown-up conversation. And his butt for 12 hours ago act like he sleep the whole time. And I'm like, DJ, you know, we're supposed to be talking about, you know, men talk, right? And so we get here, and I don't know if I ever told DJ this, but we get here and they put us up in a hotel. So me and all the coaches, we're up in a hotel, and we pretty much, you know, got to know the area. And I remember when I put my son back on a plane on Sunday because he had to get back, and I put him on a plane. As soon as he left, it was crazy because I went back to that hotel, and that's when it hit me that I was like, oh shoot, what did I do? Because I just left my family. Because one thing about us, we've been together all our lives, right? And so as I say that, DJ, the question I have for you is, I don't know if you remember, you told me your transition was a little bit hard for you because then the whole family moved up here and you were there alone. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, it kind of helped me grow up, like really become a man. Like when your family living in the South, you living in the North. I did have a family here, but I wouldn't say it's like my actual family. It was more like family, friends. And then my parents had built those relationships with those people. So I kind of had to build my own relationship with those people. But yeah, it was kind of hard not knowing anybody, playing football with people coming from pretty much everywhere, Chicago, Indiana, and all that. Just coming from different backgrounds. So I really had to kind of talk to them and learn kind of through their backgrounds and through their struggles, kind of like how find connections with them. And it was, yeah, eventually I made it through, but it started off hard for real. I did want to come back down. I didn't want to play football no more. I wanted to be with my family, but I had to push through.
Why was that so important?
What part?
As far as wanting to be with your family, but then understanding the importance of, how did you get through that?
I would just say, I don't even know for real. I would say a lot of people, like it's this thing called freshman camp. I don't know if anybody really familiar with that. And like, so all the freshmen, we all come down and we kind of kicking it with each other. I think everybody was going through this like since I'm homesick. And I was really, that was my first time ever being away from my family. And like every time we always be everywhere together. If I didn't have my parents, I would have had my sister. So it was really my first time being alone. And I would say kind of just talking to them, and then, I don't know, calling my parents. I did call them, I prayed and everything, and then talked to some of the people my parents had built relationships with, and then talk to them too.
I think the hardest part for me is I was driving one day and I asked you because I just assumed you were doing good. Because when I was talking to you, you would say you were doing good. And I remember I asked you and you said, man, no, Dad, it was hard, you know, that adjustment. And I think it hit me like a ton of bricks, because one thing that I've always tried to do, and my athletes will tell you, my former athletes from Washington State, at Grand Valley State and at LSU, always say I love you, right? Because you never know when you'll get that other opportunity to say you love a person again. And especially when we're talking about men, it's not a lot of times that men, I know I didn't hear I love you a lot. So when my son had told me that, I remember it was hard for me because I felt like, dang, I missed it. As many times we talk on the phone, you never told me that it was hard for you, that you had struggled. And so I was like, dang, I missed it. And so that homesickness is, so you're saying it's real?
Yeah, I didn't believe it until like it really hit me. And then I would say like the first 2 days, I was cool. Like I ain't never been away from my family. I was like, oh yeah, nobody can tell me anything. I can go wherever, kick it with my friends, do all that. Then after a while, you like, dang, I don't really have nobody like right there. I can't really hug my mom, hug my dad, and stuff like that. And it was like nobody telling me you got to be home at this certain time. You got to be here. So yeah, I kind of did miss that. I wanted that back too.
Definitely. So when did you feel like, okay, you started getting your stride?
I would say probably when school started, just like being around more of my friends started, and then eventually my girl, she came. So I was kicking it with her pretty much every day. And I would say, yeah, really when school started, talking to a whole bunch of other people, having classrooms with or meeting people in the classroom, talking to them. And then, yeah, I would say for sure when school started, that was really my time. I kind of was able to adjust to everything.
Definitely. So let's talk about school. I remember your mother, your mom and I, we were having a conversation and saying just how well you and your sister are doing now. And we're like, why you didn't do that in high school? Because maybe we could have got some scholarship money instead of us having to pay for, what we pay for. What's changed? Why is education seems like it's more important to you now?
I feel like you always said like control the things you can control. And one of the things that I can control is like going to class, going to tutoring, talking to teachers. So I was like, as soon as I came, I was like, even if I don't get straight A's, I'm gonna still try my hardest and do the best I can. So I can control that. That's the only thing I want to control.
I love that because I say that a lot. I remember telling someone when I was talking about that word control, I said, we get in trouble a lot of times because we try to control things that are completely out of our control. And then the guy I was talking to, he was looking at me and I said, here's what I mean. I said, it rains so much out here in Baton Rouge. I said, if you see me outside and I'm sitting outside and I'm like, stop raining, you better stop all that raining. You would think I was crazy, right? He said, yeah, I mean, it's pouring on me and and you just hear me. You'll be like, dang, what's wrong with Doc? Because I can't control the rain. But it's the same thing when we try to control people, situations, and things. It's some things that are outside of our control and we drive ourselves crazy trying to control what we can't control. But what we can control is how we respond and we react to different things. And so one of the things that you just said that is inside your control is going to talk to your professors, going to class. Why is that so important as far as showing up?
I would just say a lot of the teachers aren't really expecting you to come to every class. And I just kind of wanted to change that narrative. So I was like, especially being an athlete, they think I'm just going to come. I'm not really here to go to school. I'm here to just play sports. And I was like, nah, I want to be that one. I want to be the star student as well as trying to play football as well on the side. So I was like, I'm going to make sure I go to class, ask questions, answer all those, do good on tests, turn in all my assignments.
Okay. All right. So let's fast forward a little bit. So we're in our second bowl game, and prior to, you give me a phone call and you said, Dad, I'm thinking about not playing football anymore. And talk to me about your process of that, making that decision.
Yeah, I would say, I kind of completed my goal. I wanted to play in a game for Grand Valley. I did that, played in a couple other games. And then I would just say, I feel like I got hurt, I would say my senior year. So I had like some knee problems. That was really hurting too. My knee was going through pain this whole time. And then I seen all these people in clubs and I seen that they were just getting ahead and doing all these internships. They was connecting, working on their network. And I know football, everybody knows it stands for NFL, but most people kind of assume it does stand for not for long. So I was like, I got to switch that mindset, start going to focus on my actual career and life outside of football. So I wanted to start that now instead of waiting until the end of my senior year.
Definitely. And so was that process hard?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the second hardest choice I made. For sure, that was a pretty hard choice.
What made it so hard? What made it so difficult?
I would say just walking away from the sport you kind of dedicated so much of your time for, and kind of that's what I wanted to do all my life. That's all I've been saying. Just play football. I just want to play football. There was no other plan B. I always just had plan A, was just to play football for the rest of my life. But yeah, it was pretty difficult.
Definitely. I remember the conversation I had too. I wanted you to kind of flesh that out. But I remember the conversation because talking to athletes who make the transition either away from football or to transfer to another school, and I always tell them, I say, listen, if you're not going to play football, that's fine. I said, but it's been this block of time that you've committed yourself to. So you can tell me that you're going to go get involved in these other things, or you can tell me you're going to do that and not do that and just use that block of time playing video games. And so why was it so important to you to now use this heavy time commitment that athletes have? And everybody knows it, but I don't think you know it until you're either involved with it or you're in it. But the time commitment. So what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna take advantage of this time?
I would just say pretty much like the lessons you instilled in me. Just you got a certain amount of time in a day. What you gonna do with it? So I was like, if I can get in this real estate club, I'm gonna do that. Learn as much as, because real estate is one of the things I want to do. I want to have my own real estate company. So I was like, if I do this, I can network with people. And just going into rooms where I'm not the smartest person. I feel like a lot of the times in the past, I've always been one of the smartest people. So I wanted to switch that and start going in and being one of not I wouldn't say the dumbest person, but not as smart as everybody else. So I could really grow.
Definitely. I love that you said so you can really grow. And I think a lot of times people become intimidated by being around different people. And I've always said I've been fortunate once I started to understand, and I've always had the gift of gab, but once I really started to understand the power of our words, the power of us being able to communicate our goals, our ideas, our purpose to people who can tell us something different. Because I can tell you how successful you're going to be by the people you're hanging around and the conversation that you're having. So I wanted to make sure I was placing myself around people who can tell me different things that I didn't know. And so I think about, you know, what you just said right then. Let's tackle, how important is your friend group?
I would say, yeah, that's one of the main, that's really important. Because if you're around negative people or people that are doing the wrong thing, you're going to kind of find yourself following that same path. So I decided I want to be around people that are pushing me and kind of got the same dreams, aspirations that I have, so that we can all kind of collaborate and work on stuff together.
When you talk about friends, and something just hit me too. I don't know if you remember the time, because I want you to tell the story if you remember it. You had just started your new school and you was on the football team and you're trying to get to know different people and you were about to hang out with some people. Do you remember the story I'm talking about?
Yes.
Walk us through that story.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I could say like on here, but
say it, just keep it PG, but you could say it. I mean,
yeah.
Because this is very transparent. This is a transparent podcast, and everything that you're saying is trying to help people understand that even though you failed, even though you experienced something, how do we turn that failure into success? So go ahead and tell the story.
Yeah, so I would say I was hanging out football practice. I had got invited to go to somebody's house by like one of these people, and they didn't really tell me what I was going to get into until I got there. So I'm thinking it's all cool, go to class, do all that. Then eventually at the end of the day, we go to her house, and then they're kind of over there, I guess, smoking, doing all these other drugs. So I went outside and started throwing the football around, called my dad, thought he was going to get mad at me. So I sprayed a whole bunch of cologne on so he couldn't smell anything. And eventually called him. I didn't really tell him about everything that happened. But yeah, I just never been exposed to that. So it was kind of weird. And I was like, yeah, this is not something I want to do. So I tried to distance myself away from those people and not get in that situation.
So what I'm interested in is, what did you tell your friend? Because I've always told the story and I tell it a little bit different, but you know, when your friends are doing something or people who you're hanging around are doing something, you know, you're called the cornball sometimes, right? Like I can't believe you don't do this. And so what did you tell them in order to remove yourself from the situation?
I usually asthma. I feel like asthma has been like my get out of jail free pass. So I was like, I can't smoke. It's gonna really affect my asthma. So I usually just say I have real bad asthma, so I got to step outside and I can't be around that.
Definitely. So good job. I love that story right there, because I think I believe success leaves clues, and I say it on every single episode. And I think one of those things that success teaches us is how important that friendship group is. And like you said, you'll either be around people who can help you get to your goals, or they'll pull you away from your goals. And it'll start with, we know the different things that sometimes we're drawn to, but we know they're not good for us. We know the different things that put us in different positions that we say we don't want to be in, but we continue to do those things. Einstein, definition of insanity, keep doing something and expecting a different result. And no different results happen if we continue to do the same thing. And so that friendship group is very, very important, and it's very, very powerful as it pertains to our dreams. And so let's fast forward past that now, D. So this summertime, and you talked about your mom and I, the community that we was in, getting to meet a lot of different people. So go to networking. So how important, for a college student, for a high school student, because DJ used to be the shy one. Let's be real clear. So Lonnie was more outgoing growing up, my daughter, and DJ, we would go to a restaurant, be like, DJ, go put our name on the list. Well, I got to do it. I don't want to go to it. And so why is it so important to get out of your comfort zone? Talk to me about that.
I would just say, that's a good question. I feel like, kind of what you were saying, like doing the same thing over and over again is like the definition of insanity. So I feel like even like the worst thing somebody could say is no. Like you've always been saying that, like throughout everything I've been growing up. So just go up to somebody, you don't even know, like it could be a yes, it could be a no. The worst thing they could say is no, then you could try again with somebody else. I feel like just doing something that's you gotta be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like that's a real big thing that I've been trying to kind of live by now. So I'm doing stuff that makes me uncomfortable, even though I don't like being in that uncomfortable situation. I know eventually if I keep doing it, it'll eventually become comfortable. So I feel like just kind of living by that quote for sure. That's going to change your life.
Definitely. And so this summer, remember how earlier in the podcast he talked about, wanting to come home and getting a hug and all of that. So this summer, school just ended.
Yeah.
And we're expecting him to come home for a couple days or whatnot. But you're not coming home for a couple days. Why is that?
No, so I got presented with the opportunity to work under Mr. Damstra and this company called the RDV Corp. So I'm going to be a private investment analyst intern. So I'm going to be learning kind of under him and kind of going through meetings, seeing what he does, and then seeing if that's the step I want to take to further my career path.
Definitely. And so you said you're a finance major. And so has certain things come easy to you? But, in college, you got to take these things called general education classes. And so are there certain classes that come easy to you and certain classes that you got to work more on?
Yeah, I would say like the accounting classes and classes that kind of involve more math. Like I've always been good at math. So I feel like that allowed me to do good in these classes, but those classes are for sure hard. I had to go to tutoring a couple of times, trying to really understand everything that they were teaching us. But like the general elective classes, those are pretty easy. It's just going to class.
So biology was pretty easy for you at first?
Oh, no. Biology, no. I ain't good at biology. I don't see how, like, it's two different things. Like either you good at science or you good at math. And I ain't never been good at science. So that one was just struggling.
What happened? Walk us through your process of what happened, because remember, it's the Purpose Lab, turning failure into success. Tell us about your first test and all of that, what you had to do.
Oh yeah. So I studied, I got a good study regimen. I go to the library, do that study. But when I seen that first test, it was like everything that I just studied kind of just went out the door. So I'm just there. I'm like, dang, I really messed up. So I just started guessing. Did bad on the first exam, did bad on the second one, did good on the third one, and then I did good on the last one. But luckily we got this lab. So it's like biology's two parts. So you got a lab. So the lab was able to help bump my grade up. So I tried to just maintain a B in the regular class. That would enable me to get an A eventually with the final grade.
So after you did bad on that first test, what was your grade?
Ooh, I had an A.
Ooh, I think
they dropped it down to like.
What was your grade in the first test?
Yeah, for the first test, I got a 60 on. But I'm saying because I had an A before because I did good on like all the other assignments, but I had dropped it down to like a C, and then it just got lower and lower. But I obviously got it back up though.
Okay, so one of the things on a previous podcast, I kind of mentioned this and told a little bit about the story, but I didn't tell the whole thing because I wanted you to tell it. But you said you're good at math, science really isn't your thing. You ended up with what grade in that class?
I got an A-.
But you had to work, right? And so what was the first thing that you did? Why was it important? And because some people are good in science. So did you go around people who weren't good at science, or did you find someone who was? Walk us through that process, because a lot of times we think we got to be great at everything instead of saying, you know what? No, it's this stuff I'm good at, but let me go get help with this other stuff. Walk us through what you did.
Yeah, so I had talked to two of my friends. Their names are Michaela and Kendall. And they both are real good at biology. That's their major. They want to be nurses and doctors. So I was like I say, you got to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. So I was like, let let me get with them. They helped me study, taught me these different terms, different ways to memorize these different terms, and got with them. And then my grade just kind of started skyrocketing as soon as I started doing that.
Got you. Do you think they would be good at the subjects you're good at?
No. Because I showed them the homework that I got. It's like we on the total opposite of spectrums. Like I'm good at that stuff, they couldn't do that, and then they good at this stuff, and I can't do that. So we can help each other with that, which is also good.
You know what, and that's what we didn't plan this, but that's what life is, right? When we talk about, you know, the Purpose Lab and learning from failures, I think one of the biggest things, the most powerful things we can do is get ourselves around people who know something different, who can help us with those things. Remember, I always talk about my tutor who helped me, named John. My tutor who helped me, he was great at math. He was great at science. That wasn't my thing, but I had to go to him in order to get back eligible, in order to be this Dr. Damon Arnold guy. But it was hard at first because I didn't want people not to know I wasn't good at something. But what's crazy is this: John couldn't do this. You know, this speaking around the country and training and all the stuff I do. John couldn't do that. That's not his thing. Highly introverted. So we're okay to be okay. And we have to learn to be okay, being okay with not being great at everything, but being great at our thing. And so, DJ, I know you got to go because I know it's coming up on your bedtime. No, that didn't work. That didn't go too well.
Stay out all night.
Oh, you can stay up all night? Oh, because you kind of grown now.
I'm grown. That's what happens when she about to turn 21.
About to turn to the big 21, the big 21. And so let's have a little fun right quick. The other day, his sister had a birthday, seeing though we say 21. His sister just turned 19. And so on her birthday, which was I think on a Thursday, I asked DJ, and I got an office full of people. And so we're having this conversation. And I said, hey, DJ, did you talk to your sister? To which DJ responded,
I said, yes, I did. But it was a text message, which is another form of communication, which is the same.
I didn't ask him, did he communicate with his sister? I said, did you talk to your sister? And he responded,
I said, yeah.
And I said, DJ, texting isn't the same as talking. And so we kept having this conversation with all my young men who came in. And then we finally I didn't come up to agreement because it's still not talking. But here's the philosophy my 20-year-old, soon to be 21, came up with. Go ahead.
I'm just like that. I said the slogan, like text to talk. That wouldn't be an actual slogan if like that's not a thing. You saying texting is not a form of communication. You said it's not.
I said texting is a form of communication.
Yeah, all right. My fault. You said it's a form of communication. Like we both agreed. We came in agreement with that. But you said it's not talking. But I said it is talking. Because say if I were to speak to Siri and I'm sitting there talking to her, that would still be my voice going to Lonnie that's talking to her. So I don't understand.
No, that's Siri talking to her. That's not your voice.
Oh, but you can send a voice memo. The voice memo would be
the voice memo is then transcribed into a text. It's still not talking.
No, but it wouldn't be transcribed because you could you could press record. You could press record and you can sit there and talk. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So you sit there and talk and give that to Lonnie. So then you can say, I talked to her.
I talked to her, yes. And then if she were to send one back, that's us talking.
So let me ask you a question as we close this part out, because as you can tell, as a parent, I get frustrated with this because this makes no dang sense.
But when we had all the people in the office, who did they agree with?
No. The people your age agreed with you. The people my age who got jobs, which is where I'm going with this, who got jobs said it's not talking. So you can't text to talk during your interview to get a job.
Yes, you can. Because you got to think that you for sure do. Because
is that what you did to get your internship?
You said text?
Yeah. Did you text to talk when you had the interview?
Yes, I had to text them and I had to text them and the Gmail. They asked me what times are available.
No. To set it up. But once you got into the room, were you texting?
Yeah, because I had to say, hi, I'm here on the Google Meet.
Once you got into the room with the people who were interviewing you, once you had to Zoom with the people, were you talking to them?
Yes, I get that. Because
so there's a difference between talking and texting.
I never want to say it's not different. I'm just saying texting is a form.
You said it's the same. You said
I'm saying texting is talking. It's still talking.
It's not. It's just a form of communication, but it's not. So anyway. See, this is the type of stuff that me and him. But he don't even do it with me a lot because I don't even deal with it. Him and his mama, they go through this a whole bunch. The sky could be blue, and DJ gonna say why the sky is not really blue. Why do you do that?
I don't know. I just don't like being proven wrong, which I'm working on. I'm working on that for sure. But I don't know. I'm just real competitive, so I feel like if I think something right, I'm just gonna keep going until I prove it right, either to yourself or myself.
There you go. All right, so let's I got a couple questions to ask you, and then we're done. Why is putting yourself, and you mentioned it, in uncomfortable positions, why is that so important?
Because I would say that's like the biggest. It's like the biggest chance for growth. Like that's when you're gonna grow the most, when you're not doing something that you're comfortable with. Because say if you keep doing the stuff you're comfortable with, you're never gonna get the stuff that you're uncomfortable with. That's never gonna be like at the same level. So once you start doing these uncomfortable things, the stuff you're comfortable with is just gonna start evening out, and you pretty much gonna be comfortable with everything.
Got you. And why is failure so important?
Because failure is, I guess, I feel like failure. I don't know. I don't really consider stuff a failure. I think it's more of like a learning opportunity. I feel like you can't really fail. I feel like it's just an opportunity for growth, and then you can redo it. And then you just going, it just keeps, it's like a recycling thing. You just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You're just learning every time.
Definitely. So give me what, if you can have anything, money is not an issue. What would you want to have happen in your life?
I would say, like, just for me or for everybody?
For everyone.
I would just say peace. I feel like the world is like without a lot of peace. So I feel like even like with racism and everything, I feel like everybody just come together, and instead of looking at each other with like our differences, we just kind of see each other as equal instead of like that.
Got you. So DJ, I want to thank you. I hope we can hop on and do this again because I think it was important. Maybe we'll have a different podcast that we call Father Son, and my son get on my nerves, something like that. Anyway, I appreciate you taking your time, man. Anything to say to the people before we get off?
Nah, I know what you say at the end.
What'd you say?
You don't have like a closing remark?
I have a closing remark. Here we go. So once again, this has been the Purpose Lab, and you know the mission of the Purpose Lab: to interview the world's most successful failure. And I feel so honored and so privileged that I had a chance to interview one of my favorite people on the planet, my namesake, DJ Arnold. Man, I love you to death, and I'm so very proud of you. Keep understanding that the world and your success happens when you make it happen. So continue to make it happen, my guy. Appreciate you. Love.
All right, love you too.
All right.
X out.